Okay, the final light we'll be talking about today will be the area light. So if I change this point to an area, got one or two new options in here. I think best thing to do is let me just first do a quick render. Okay, so the first thing you can notice is that the area light is very strong. You know, so the default energy of 1, it just completely blows out this this render. So I'm going to move this down quite a bit, 0.02 the energy. Let's try that again. You can see that's a bit more natural, but you can see the light is also very kind of localized. You know, it's blown out on this side and in darkness on this side. An area light would best be described as a strong local diffuse lamp. So if you can imagine, you know, if you had a small bank of fluorescent lamps in a lamp holder, you know, it'll give a very kind of flat, even lighting, but also very localized. Anyone who's familiar with photography, the nearest description to it would be a softbox. So anyway, that is the Hemi lamp. Now you'll notice the icon of a not a Hemi lamp, an area lamp. The icon of an area lamp changes to like this square, and this square kind of represents the area of the face of that lamp. So you know, a small square would be very kind of localized. We can just scale the square up actually using the S command. So if I was to scale it up to say there, you can see that's quite a bit bigger. Let's go some more. It's quite a bit bigger. And if I do a render on that, even though my energy is still way down, it's casting a lot more light because it's casting this amount of energy per unit of area of the lamp. So making the lamp bigger increases the energy by the same factor. Okay, and in fact if I turn this down to 0.1, which is the minimum, and F12, it's still probably going to be blown out. It is, and that's because of the size of my lamp. Now if I was to move this lamp quite a bit away, and you can see once again it does have a direction. Okay, trying to see where to get that direction. Anyway, and let me just rotate it so it kind of illuminates onto Suzanne. Okay, so this is a broad, directly overhead kind of light. Let's see what that does. You can see it's not quite so blown out because I've moved it away, and in fact if I move it away even more, let's move it way off the scene kind of thing, and render that, we're starting to get more normal effects. So you can see it's a very strong, very local lamp. Okay, let me grab it, bring it down so we can see where we're working with it. Let me reduce the size of it. Okay, how are we looking there? Okay, somewhere about there. Alright, so that is the area. Now we can change from a square to a rectangle. Okay, now the square, when I was resizing this using the S command, it's the same as using this size here. So if I scale it on the S, it's not the same as using this size here. I need to look into that. Okay, so let's scale it back down. What does this do? Seems to have the same effect on the thing. Okay, so let's look at the difference. Let's make this 0.1 as it was. Let's do a render. It might have been a bit more than 0.1. It might be 0.2. But anyway, let's move this up to... Ooh, too far. You see how sensitive this light is. Very sensitive. Okay, somewhere about there. Okay. Now, what happens if we increase the size of this? I don't know. We're gonna... Let's go all the way up. Well, let's go to about 1. I'm not seeing a big difference in this. Okay. Anyway, disregarding that for the moment. We've got a square kind of shape around it, which represents the size of the softbox or the size of the bank of fluorescent lights or whatever. We can change that to rectangle, okay? And we can adjust the X and Y size of the rectangle, okay? So we could get a very kind of thin, concentrated strip of lamp, or a very kind of broad kind of thing. So you've not seen it much on the render there. Where you will notice this more is on a glossy material. Actually, let's add a material to the plane and make that slightly reflective or glossy. So it's new. Let's call that plane material. Mirror, and give it quite a bit of reflectivity. Okay, so I probably need to bring my camera out some. Here we go. Let's have a look at how that looks. Yeah, you can kind of see it's starting to reflect the light from here. Anyway, what else have we got on the lamp? Okay, so we've got the energy and the distance of the lamp. We should probably kind of set so the maximum distance is somewhere around about where the model or the subject is. So let's just change this to square. Okay, let's go to this auto view, rotate it around 7, so we're looking, you can see our lamp is kind of off to the right corner. Okay, let's move this up a bit, rotate it still onto the Suzanne a bit. Right, let's try render there. Okay, so we've got this kind of even lighting. The distance, if we were to increase that distance, let's actually do something very extreme, make that 100. You can see that it blows out. So what that is the distance that the lamp casts. So if I was to bring that back down to 10, you can see that this line comes a lot shorter. So by making it 100, what we're doing is we're actually moving further up that curve of the inverse square. Okay, now given this lamp is kind of very very close to the model, let's move this distance down to somewhere where the model is at the lower end of the inverse square curve, and if we render that, we're getting this darker. So now we could kind of play with the distance because the energy was so kind of finicky, so sensitive. Till we start to get a light that we like. Okay, so let's go 20. It's too much. Let's go down about 15. And we're starting to get more kind of options on our light. We've also got no shadow and ray shadow. At the minute I'm on no shadow, and you can see the Suzanne reflected on the transparent on the reflected plane. If I add a shadow to that, you can see it's starting to add the shadows. Let me just take the reflectivity of this plane. Materials. Okay. And let's let's do a render there. You can see it's casting the shadows. If I was to move this lamp further off, that shadow become more diffused. We can also play with sampling on the shadows like we did before with the point lamp and the thresholds and the QMCs. So if I was to increase set samples to 20, it's going to take a lot longer to render. However, it should kind of give us a softer shadow. Okay, why isn't it rendering? There we go. There you can see the big difference in rendering times, but you can also see how shadows are getting a lot softer. Okay, so now we're going to always takes longer to render, especially with samples like that. With caution, where this will be good is when you're trying to bring light into a window or something like that, where you could have the area like way kind of out, and you can control, you know, the atmosphere between kind of like midday or dusk or dawn or something like that.